Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. HTM here with part 2 of our PTS patch note review for the Stonethorn DLC. Part 1, in case you missed it, we talked about all the class balance changes, skill changes to things like vampires, werewolves, weapon skill changes. So if you missed that, make sure you check that out. I'll have a link down in the description below. But in this video, we'll be going over all of the set changes. And yes, I counted them. Over 200 item set changes, not even counting the new item sets, you guys. This is probably the biggest patch I've ever seen for ESO in terms of just item set balance. It's crazy, but some of it is good. I mean, I think they've done a good job updating some of the older sets that we didn't really ever use. And so some of these are actually viable sets now for PvE and PvP. So it is a lot of sets. I know that. I'll have timestamps in the description, because they did break it down by item type. So we'll have a section for new items and then updates to things like dungeon sets, overland sets, crafted sets, PvP sets, trial sets. If you want to jump to any of those specific points, go ahead and do so. And I will be moving kind of quick. I'll just point out anything that stands out to me as being significant. But here we go, starting with the new sets for the 2 new dungeons. Castlethorn. Talfik's Treachery is the new light armor set, spell critical, max magicka, spell damage, and the 5-piece increases your spell damage by 372, but also increases your damage from flame and Fighter's Guild abilities by 10%. Not a big fan of this. I don't think that's enough spell damage. Should probably be over 400 at least. Unleashed Terror is the medium armor set, weapon damage, 2 max stam, and when you deal direct damage with a charge, leap, teleport, or pull, you cut your enemy, causing them to bleed for 5 seconds and dealing almost 20k physical damage with a 10-second cooldown. Now, on paper, this looks pretty strong for PvP. This also works with teleport, which is new. We haven't seen that, so Stamsorks can use this off of streak, which will be pretty interesting. And this charge here, some people have pointed out that this is going to be a very strong combo with the Maelstrom 2H, so Maelstrom Crit Rush is already going to do significant bleed damage. Combine that with this 20k physical damage, which is also bleed, and maybe throw on Deadly Strike, and you got yourself a build. Pretty powerful there. Heavy armor set is called Crimson Twilight, max health. Healing taken, max health again. And after you take damage, you surround yourself in the mist of blood. After 2 seconds, the mist gets siphoned into your body, dealing about 8,000 bleed damage and healing you for 100% of the damage done with an 8-second cooldown. Sounds kind of like Leeching Plate, but more bursty. I don't know if I like that because the 8 seconds is pretty long. It would probably be better with a shorter cooldown. Lady Thorn is the Monster Mask, maximum health, and casting an ability that costs health spawns a blood ball for 10 seconds. You or an ally near the blood ball can activate a synergy, which deals 5,000 disease damage to nearby enemies and applies major maim for 5 seconds with a 30-second cooldown. Doesn't sound that great to me, to be honest. We have lots of ways to get major maim, and 30-second cooldown is not too good. Moving on to Stone Garden. Elemental Catalyst, max magicka, spell critical, max magicka. When you deal Flame Shock or Frost, you apply a stack of weakness to the enemy for 5 seconds. So it sounds like you can only get 3 of these, 1 for each elemental damage type. Each stack increases their critical damage taken by 6%. An enemy can only have 1 stack of each element at a time. Sounds pretty cool. Sounds powerful, actually. I'm guessing this might be nerfed come week 2 or week 3, because 18% bonus crit damage is actually a lot. That's more than Shadow Mundus. More than a whole Mundus stone, maybe. So, yeah, very strong if that stays the way it is. Now, the medium armor set, Kraglin's Howl. Weapon critical, stam recovery, weapon damage. After an enemy you've recently damaged dies, you let out a howl, granting 3 allies within 5 meters the Heed the Call synergy. Activating the synergy gives you 12 ultimate every 20 seconds. It's weird. Kind of a weird medium armor set. I don't like it. Arceus Genius is the heavy armor set. Max health, armor, max health. Whenever you drink a potion, You and 3 group members gain 44 ultimate. This effect can occur once every 30 seconds. That's like the same as this, almost, just better. Okay, that's not as bad. 44 ultimate's okay. I don't know. Interesting. These go with the theme of the dungeon, though, which is like alchemy, so I get it. Stonehusk is the monster mask weapon critical. Your heavy attacks tether you to enemies within 10 meters for 5 seconds. Enemies touching the tether take 1900 physical damage every 1 second, and you gain a stack of Husk Drain up to 15 stacks. The tether is broken if the enemy moves 12 meters away. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds. When the tether ends, you consume the stacks and gain 30 weapon damage per stack. So 5-second buff. Let's figure this out. This is complicated. 30 weapon damage per stack, up to 15 stacks. So the buff is kind of nice. I mean, about 450 weapon damage, it looks like, for 5 seconds when the tether ends. It's kind of a short duration. I don't know. Interesting set for sure. Moving on to our updated sets, I just wanted to point out that there is some significant changes as far as AoE sets. They've adjusted all item sets that have radius checks for friendly targets to no longer target all allies, but instead target group members only. This will reduce the amount of parsing and messaging dealt by the server and reduce staggering power of many of these sets in non-grouped content. And it's the following sets. So you can check that out. It's a lot of sets. So the AoEs on these no longer apply to anybody in the area, only who you're grouped with. So keep that in mind. And jumping into crafted sets next. Again, I'm just going to go over these quickly. Alessi's Bulwark. This now reduces the attacker's weapon damage by 300 rather than 10%. Armor Master increased the armor slightly. Assassin's Guile, the set's 2-piece is now weapon and spell critical instead of only spell critical. 3-piece is now weapon and spell damage. 4-piece is now weapon and spell critical. So more of a pure hybrid set. Looks good to me. Cold Harbor, this set now heals or damages over 6 seconds rather than 4. So a little bit stronger. Fix an issue with damage could not be purged. Okay. Daedric Trickery, this is interesting. This set now activates upon dealing damage. Okay. Increase the duration of all major buffs up to 16 seconds from 10. That's quite a big improvement. And the cooldown is still 20 seconds. So only 4 seconds of downtime is pretty strong. Not bad. Death's Wind reduced the cooldown to 15 seconds. Gravestake Collector reduced the magicka and stamina restored down to 4190. But they, again, removed the proc chance. That's what we're doing on most of these sets, getting rid of the proc chance entirely. In the Axiom, the 2-piece is now weapon and spell damage rather than magicka. The 3-piece also grants magicka. Magnus's Gift increased the proc chance to 15%. Mechanical Acuity removed the proc chance entirely. The set now grants its guaranteed critical strike to any ability that can naturally critical strike rather than only attacks. Okay, so that means heals as well, I guess. We ordered the sets 2 through 4-piece bonus to better account for bar swapping. Might of the Lost Legion. This set now grants an additional 1206 max health. Okay. An extra 5-piece bonus on that one. That's good. Noble's Conquest. Increase the healing done just slightly there. Nocturnal's Favor, this set now heals for almost 10k health over 5 seconds with a 5-second cooldown. Okay, not bad. Oblivion's Foe, this set now increases the damage of your soul magic attacks rather than adding 1000 weapon and spell damage to Soul Trap. So this now counts for the ultimate, I'm going to assume. Increase the recovery bonuses to 211 up from 129. That's interesting. Redistributor. This set now procs on overhealing cause rather than when you heal yourself at full health. Okay. Decrease the healing just a little bit. Decrease the cooldown to 1 second. That's good. That's good for healing. 1 second cooldown is nice. Shackle Breaker. Increase the stamina magicka slightly here. Reordered 2 through 4 to better account for bar swapping. Okay. Shalador, this set now activates off light and heavy attacks rather than only light attacks. And increase the healing quite a bit. That's good. This set was pretty much a joke. But now 3 to 88 healing every 1 second. That's not too bad. Song of LeMay reduced the damage done Reduce the cooldown to 3 seconds, down from 30 seconds. That's a major reduction. That's good. This set now heals for the amount of damage done rather than a flat amount. Okay. Tava's Favor, this old school set, now grants 12 ultimate over 3 seconds, up from 9. Okay, slightly more ultimate there. Torag's Pact, the 2-piece is now armor rather than spell damage. That's good. Increase the cooldown reduction, just a little bit there, up to 33. Increase the potency of enchantments to 90%. I believe that's a typo. I think Gina confirmed that. It should be something like 40 or 50%. Yeah, 90%. I don't think that's going to happen. Notice how they are changing it now to armor. So I think they're making this more like a tank set. Trial by Fire, this set now grants 8,500 armor while under the effects of any elemental status effect. Twilight's Embrace is now magicka rather than health for the 2-piece. Vampire's Kiss got a nice buff, 88 healing over its duration, up from 5160. Baron's Legacy reduced the damage bonus of the set, reduced the window in which you must activate it to 5 seconds, removed the proc chance, and added a 2-second cooldown. Now whenever you block an attack, your next direct damage AoE deals an additional 3290 damage with the 2-second cooldown. White Strike increased the size of the damage shield. Okay, quite an increase there. And then Willow's Path increased the recovery bonuses to 25%, up from 15%. Wow, that's a lot of recovery. That's magicka, stamina, and health recovery. That's cool. That's going to be nice. All right, on to Overland sets. Akaviri Dragon Guard now gives you health recovery on the 5-piece. This is interesting. Armor of the Trainee is now a 3-piece set rather than 5 pieces. Health, magicka, and stamina. Interesting. That is unusual, too, that you get a 1-piece bonus. So if you just wear 1 piece, you'll actually get something. You'll get health. That's kind of nice for new players especially. Veiled Heritance, a little buff here on the weapon damage. It also permanently increases your bash attacks by 516. Baraha's Curse, increase the damage done. That's nice. Increase the proc chance. Interesting, this still has a proc chance. Reduce the snare potency. Beekeeper, 3 and 4-piece bonuses are now health rather than health recovery, and the health recovery is now 900 up from 400. That's quite a lot. That's nice. Bloodthorn's Touch increased the magicka and stamina by quite a bit there. Almost 1,000 magicka and stamina. I believe that's every 6 seconds. That's nice. Briarheart reduced the healing, but it no longer has a proc chance, so that's good. Still 10 seconds up and then 15-second cooldown like normal. Brightthroat got a slight increase. Call of the Undertaker no longer has a cooldown. Triggers on any damage done rather than only light attacks. Champions of the Hist now has max health 2. Crafty Elfique slightly reduced the magicka. Deadwater's Guile, this set now scales with item level and quality. Increase the ultimate to 15 per kill, up from 5, but they say it scales with item level and quality, so does that need to be gold? I wonder to get the 15 ultimate. 15 ultimate per kill is pretty nice, though. It also gives you additional 129 weapon damage on the 5-piece, which is good. Defiler, increase the damage, remove the proc chance. Hungerer is stationary, cannot be targeted, and fixed some issues with the hunger. Okay. Draugr's Heritage, increase the healing a little bit there. Reduce the cooldown to 7 seconds. That's good. Dreamer's Mantle, this set now restores 1,000 magicka on proc rather than healing. Reduce the cooldown to 7 seconds. Not bad. Maybe a good healer set now for sustain. Grace of Gloom, the heal from the set now activates once every second and reduce the healing to 1,000 per tick. Green Pact increased the health recovery on this set. Griffins now last 10 seconds, up from 3. Morahas increased the damage done. Almost doubled it there. It also grants you stamina recovery on the 5-piece. I do like how they're adding some extra 5-piece bonuses here to some of the weaker sets, kind of balancing them out a little bit more. I do appreciate that. Hide of the Werewolf got buffed to 6 ultimate, up from 5. Yeah, it could be buffed a little bit more, I think. Livewire reduced the cooldown to 6 seconds, remove the proc chance. Mad Tinkerer increased the damage, remove the proc chance, reduce the cooldown. This is going to be a stronger set now for PvP, I think. More people might be using that. Mark of the Pariah reduced the armor there slightly. Meridia's Blessed Armor and now causes you to dodge all incoming attacks for 5 seconds after blocking an attack. Okay, increase the cooldown though. Increase the cooldown. 25 seconds is quite a long cooldown. Updated the visual. Mother Sorrow did not get nerfed. Actually got buffed by 13 spell critical there. Necropotence reduced the magicka granted. Night Mothers increased the weapon damage of the 5-piece bonus. Plague Doctor changed the 4-piece to health. Okay, that's good. Reduced the 5-piece slightly there. Prisoners decreased the magicka restored slightly. Robes of the Withered Hand increased the magicka and health restored just a bit there. Sensual Defender now restores even more. 757 magicka and stamina. Sensuous Bite increased the critical hit damage of this set to 15%, up from 12. A little buff there, not bad. 7th Legion decreased the weapon damage and health recovery just a little bit. Increased the duration and cooldown. That's good. 15 seconds is a good duration for that. Shadow of the Red Mountain decreased quite a bit there. That's a big nerf in damage, but they did remove the proc chance. That's cool. So it's now going to proc whenever you deal damage with a weapon after 1 second, and it has a 2-second cooldown. So no proc chance on this. It's just going to blow up every 2 seconds. Pretty cool. Might have to try that. Shulk Exoskeleton now grants additional spell damage. Silks of the Sun grants more spell critical instead of max health. That's good. Soulshine gives you 369 spell damage for 5 seconds after activating the channel or cast time ability, rather than adding to your channeled or cast time abilities. That's kind of cool. So it gives you a 5-second buff. Spinners, little adjustment there on the penetration. Stendars now removes all negative effects rather than just 5. That's good. Storm Knight, reduce the damage done. Oh, big nerf there. Reduce the proc chance from the set. Oh, removed the proc chance though, so that's gone. That's good. Now, whenever you take non-physical damage, you deal the shock damage. Okay, it's now damage over time. Stygian now gives you spell damage for 15 seconds after leaving stealth or invisibility. The 3-piece is now spell damage rather than stamina. Good, good. Swamp Raider got a buff here, a juicy buff. Increased the weapon damage of poison and disease attacks by 600. Very nice. Sword Singer, same thing here. So 2-handed abilities, 600 weapon damage. That's strong. This is good. I've been wanting them to do this for a long time. These, one damage type, these one weapon sets needed to be buffed. They need to be more than like New Moon Acolyte, for example. So this is good. Searbane, reduce the magicka restored. Just a little bit there. Sivara's Scales, increase the damage done from the set. Wow, they almost doubled the dot value there. 10,000 over the duration. Increase the cooldown and remove the proc chance. Thunderbug, reduce the damage, remove the proc chance. Makes sense. Trinimac, increase the damage and healing just a little bit. Twin Sisters, reduce the damage, remove the proc chance. Okay. Unfathomable Darkness got a nice buff. That's cool. 6,000 damage up from 4,000. And they remove the proc chance. Very good. This is going to be a more viable set now. War Maiden, this is now 600 spell damage, 2 magic attacks. That's not magicka costing abilities. That's abilities that do magic damage. So this is going to be strong. If you have, a Templar, Templars do a lot of magic-based damage, as does the Nightblade class. So very good for those 2 classes. Way of the Air got a buff and stamina recovery on the 5-piece. Way of the Fire, remove the proc chance. Wilder Queen, this set now scales in item set quality and level, and now increases your movement speed by 15 and reduces enemy movement speed by 15. That's cool. That's a cool mechanic, actually. I like that. I want to try that out for a bow build, maybe for PvP. Wisdom of Vanis now gives you additional spell damage. Witchman, this set now restores 51 health, magicka, and stamina per point of the ultimate's cost, rather than 28 health and stamina. Wow. This is a big buff, you guys. I've been wanting to use this set. on some classes like Stamina Warden, Stamina Templar. This is strong. Imagine this actually on a Stamina DK. That's a lot of sustain. Words Tree, this set now removes all negative effects, up from 5. Okay, moving right along to dungeon sets. Archer's Mind now gives you 6% crit damage and healing, and an additional 12% while in sneak or invisibility. Mazatoon has increased the value here. Barkskin, reduced the healing, reduced the stamina. Okay, so they just nerfed that set. That's kind of weird. Not a great set to begin with. Bone Pirate, increased stamina recovery. Friends of Imperium, increased the damage shield size, remove the proc chance. That's good. Burning Spell, we've got a little bit of a nerf here to damage because it no longer has a proc chance. Calurians, increase the travel speed and reduce the minimum travel time. Okay. Combat Physician, they reduced the shield size to 4308. Kind of low for a 5-piece bonus. But the cooldown is now per target rather than overall. Wow, they've been listening. That's pretty cool. I'm going to try this maybe on a Sorcerer Healer build. Dragon's Defilement now has additional max health on the 5-piece. Draugr Hulk, slight reduction there. Elemental Succession, fix an issue. Essence Thief got buffed. Wow. Strong set already, and they gave it even more stamina and health. That's good. Flame Blossom increased the damage done. Now always applies Burning Elemental status effect, and no longer has a proc chance. Frozen Watcher for my Warden block build actually got buffed. I'm going to have to try this again. Up to 1365 from 1000. Pretty nice. Glorious Defender now causes you to dodge the next attack after bashing an enemy, rather than having the 9% proc chance. Gossamer, reduce the duration to 1 second. Hagraven, this set now grants you and group members area major protection. Okay, so for the whole group now, that makes sense. That's a better set. They also increase the duration and reduce the cooldown. Good. Not bad. Hand of Mephala now applies minor fracture to enemies in the web. Increase the damage done, remove the proc chance. Okay. Hennu's Compassion, increase max magicka. Haven of Ursus, this set now grants the shield up to 5 targets. Wow. So a 5 target damage shield. And it's a big shield too. Not bad. Hersines, this got a pretty big change. It now gives you and your allies stamina recovery rather than reducing your stamina costing abilities by 4%. Interesting change there. Hades Hearth, fix an issue. Hollow Fang, reduce the magicka granted from this set. Hunt Leader, fix an issue. Icy Conjure, they spread out the duration a little bit here. 10 seconds rather than 8 seconds. They also reduce the cooldown. That's nice. Ironblood still has a proc chance. Jailbreaker has stamina recovery on the 5-piece. Jolting Arms, they took the proc chance off of this. Now when you block, your next bash will deal 3,500 damage and will increase your physical and spell resistance. So they reduced the damage of the bash quite a bit there. Knights Errant increased the weapon damage bonus to 450. Wow. They also increased the heal. So pretty nice. Pretty nice buff there for one-hand and shield builds. Nightmare no longer has a proc chance. They did reduce the duration to 2 seconds though. Lamia Song now grants 25 health magicka and stamina rather than just health. That's kind of nice. Leeching Plate, they reduced the damage slightly. No longer has a proc chance. Okay. Leviathan got a little buff. Light Speaker also got a buff. Magicka Furnace now restores magicka when you take damage while under 50% magicka, rather than being under 80% magicka. Okay. Medusa's 2 through 4-piece bonuses are now spell critical, rather than health, magicka, and spell damage. Whoa, interesting. That's kind of cool, actually. So I think Medusa gives you the minor critical damage buff already, and now all the bonuses are spell critical, and you get 900 spell critical for the 5-piece. That's pretty cool. So it's almost like a Mother Sorrow combined with Medusa. That's interesting. Mighty Glacier now grants major resolve to 11 allies. The nearest allies. Okay, so now it's based on range rather than the order they were invited to the group. Okay. Moonhunter has got a little bit of a nerf in terms of damage, but longer duration. Noble Duelist now increases your light and heavy attack damage with a 5-second cooldown. Oblivions increase the healing to 20,000. 20,000 burst heal. They also increase the weapon damage on the 5-piece to 258. The heal can only happen every 10 seconds. Okay. Overwhelming, got a little buff on the damage. Remove the proc chance, increase the cooldown. Parabellum, this is interesting. It's a stamina damage shield set. Might have to check this out because it now grants you the damage shield every 10 seconds rather than a damage shield if you didn't take damage, which never made sense. Permafrost gives you 1,100 health recovery now when you have your damage shield up. Instead of 885, I'm going to have to update my 1-bar sorcerer that uses this set. Pretty nice buff there. Pillar of Nirn does damage. It also does 23,000 damage over 10 seconds. They more than doubled the damage of this set. And remove the proc chance. That's pretty strong. Plague Slinger, remove the cooldown. Prayer Shawl, increase the damage shield size. That's good. Rattle Cage gives you more spell damage on the 5-piece. That's good. Reynolds Resolve now stacks 9 times. Reduce the duration of the bonus. Okay. Robes of Destruction now grants you a little bit more magicka. Sanctuary grants 10% healing taken down from 12. Interesting. Savage Werewolf got a buff in damage. Scavenging Demise also got a nice buff in damage. Sheer Venom. This set can now proc on multiple targets. What? From a single hit of an execute attack, but cannot refresh itself. Interesting. So, like, Reverse Slice could proc this on multiple targets. Same damage. And it now has an execute. Wow, that's strong. That's good, you guys. If you PvP, pick up this set. Looks like it's getting even stronger, and it was already good. Spell Power Cure. Looks like they removed the proc chance there. They also took off the 6-person target cap. Interesting. Spelunker. Oh, man. This set never got used. This set now reduces the cost of your Undaunted abilities by 10%. You now restore magicka and stamina when an ally activates your Undaunted synergies. Okay. Still kind of meh. Spider Cultist got the buff here. 600 spell damage on Destruction Staff attacks. That's good. Stormmaster, this now increases your light and heavy attack damage. Okay. Thunderflame now deals 13,600 damage. Oh, over 10 seconds. So it's now a dot. Kind of boring, I guess. It's okay. Sword Dancer, 600 weapon damage to dual wield attacks. Worm now grants magicka recovery. Okay, Tooth Throat and Treasure Hunter increase the weapon and spell damage up to 171. Zogvins increase the weapon critical. Okay, reduce the duration of stacks. Added a cooldown. Okay, Undaunted Bastion. The set now activates when you're below 75% health rather than 60. Okay, not bad. Undaunted Infiltrator and Unweaver. They no longer have an identity crisis. They grant the appropriate stats for their armor weights, although they still require you to cast an ability that is not the primary resource of their weight. And they did get a little buff in terms of the damage here, so 1685 on both light and heavy attacks. Wheelmaker now does much more damage, but it's over 5 seconds. Rather than instantly, Winterborn, increase the damage, remove the proc chance, increase the cooldown. Okay, moving on to trial sets. The following sets now affect you and 5 other group members rather than you and 3 other allies. And the duration is determined by the amount of ultimate points spent. That's interesting. 1 second for every 14 ultimate used. Automated Defense, Master Architect, War Machine, Inventor's Guard. Interesting change there. Reliquin, what did they do here? Reduce the maximum number of stacks. From this and the perfected version to 15, they reduce the stacks. Okay. Berserking Warrior now gives you less weapon critical per stack, but they increase the number of stacks. That is a lot of weapon critical. Defending Warrior, increase the damage done. Eternal Warrior, fix an issue. False God, remove the extra 5-piece bonus of spell damage and the extra 5-piece bonus of magicka on the perfected version to mirror Vicious Ophidian. Healing Mage now reduces nearby enemies' weapon and spell damage rather than just weapon damage. Okay. Fallible Mage, reduce the damage barely. Lunar Bastion now creates an area for 8 seconds, down from 10 seconds. Increase the cooldown. This set now gives a damage shield that absorbs 2,000 damage every 2 seconds, but continues to stack every tick. It's a little confusing, but it's basically a group damage shield. Kind of cool, I guess. Sororia, the set, now grants 52 spell damage per stack, up from 30, but they reduce the stacks. Moon Dancer, reduce the duration. Poisonous Serpent got a buff on the damage, but they increased the cooldown to 2 seconds, up from 1. Remove the proc chance. Roar of Alkosh, this set now deals 3,000 damage initially, 11,000 over 10 seconds. The armor shred from the set is now based on the amount of damage done from the initial hit rather than a flat value. Interesting. I wonder if tanks will still use that in trials. We'll have to see. Roaring Opportunist now only applies to 6 group members, down from 12. Locustes reduce the duration to 10 seconds. Twice Fanged reduce the penetration granted, but increase the number of stacks. Twilight Remedy now heals for more over a longer duration. No longer has a cooldown. Yandra's Might, each stack of Giant's Endurance now grants 74 weapon damage rather than stamina recovery. Okay. Vestment of Alorame, reduce the duration of the Major Courage, adjusted the max targets to 6, down from 12. Okay, PvP sets, moving right along. Affliction no longer has a proc chance. Alessian, this set now grants 2% of your total physical and spell resistance as health recovery, up from 1, so they doubled the resistance on that. That's good. Amalexia now heals you for 4,000 over 3 seconds. Bastion of the Heartland, reduce the damage reduction bonus to 3%. Reduce the damage reduction bonus on Siege to 10%. Italian Defender got a slight buff there. Black Rose got buffed. Increase the bonus to Constitution up to 60%. Okay, Coward's Gear. This set now appears in your character sheet. Crest of Cyrodiil, reduce the healing. Deadly Strike, fixed an issue. Desert Rose, increase the proc chance. Hawkeye, this set now grants 6% cost reduction and damage done, up from 5. Kind's Kiss now restores health and stamina with a 5-second cooldown, so no proc chance there. That's actually pretty good. Meritorious Service. This now grants 3,540 armor to group members for 20 seconds. Phoenix, increase the duration of the shield. Powerful Assault. This is a good buff, actually. Grants 307 weapon and spell damage to group members rather than 164. I like it. Ravager got a slight buff. Sentry got a buff on the 5-piece. Soldier of Anguish no longer has a proc chance, so that's the heal absorption set. Spell Strategist got a little bit of a nerf there on damage. Steadfast Hero reduced the cooldown by 2 seconds. Okay. Archmage increased the magicka regeneration. Juggernaut increased the healing. Oh, look at this. This set now also grants 20,000 armor for 15 seconds after activating. Oh man. Unkillable tanks. Here we go. Morag Tong. This set now causes the targets to take bonus disease and... oh, a disease and poison damage. So it's both rather than poison damage only. Okay. Harbinger got a little buff. Vanguard now decreases damage done by 35%, down from 50. Okay. It also increases the damage done by your target to you by 35 rather than 150. Okay. That might be a little bit more doable now. Vice Cannon, they changed how this activates. Now activates when you deal critical damage while behind an enemy rather than stealth or invisible. It does less damage over a shorter duration now. Okay. Vicious Death. Additional spell penetration on the 5-piece. That's pretty nice. Increase the damage on kill also. Wow. Bomb builds will be happy about that. Ward of Cyrodiil, fix an issue. Ward of Warrior's Fury, reduce the... oh, wow. They nerfed Fury. They nerfed Fury by quite a bit. 24 per stack, down from 30. Wizards now applies minor enervation, who critically strike you rather than minor maim. It also grants 660 crit resistance on the 5-piece. Okay. Monster set changes. Bloodspawn got a little buff to the armor. Increase the ultimate 13 up from 8. Groth Dart now only activates if you're within melee range, basically 8 meters of the enemy. So that's a nice change, actually. Lambris is now damage over time rather than direct damage. Krogs is now melee damage. Malakina fixed an issue. Pirate Skeleton fixed. Falcon fixed. Zon is fixed. Okay. On to our weapons here. Concentrated Force now requires 2 Force Shock casts, down from 3. And then Mythic items. Snow Traders, they did the tooltip to better reflect when you have the snare and immobilization immunity, which is only while in combat. And then Thracian Stranglers, everybody's favorite spell damage stacking mythic. Did see a nerf here. Reduce the spell damage granted per stack to 92, down from 150. But they also reduced the penalty down to 1% per stack instead of 2. And now there is actually a timer on this. The stacks from the set now last 30 seconds and refresh every time you gain a stack rather than being permanent. So this changes a lot in terms of Thracian builds. Kind of surprised. I mean, not really. I'm surprised that they changed it this soon. Kind of sad that the mythic that people worked so hard for got changed right away, but that's the nature of the game. Also check out, if you're a stamina build, it now gives you weapon damage. So some hybrid potential maybe here, even though it's less damage overall, you can now use it on stamina build or a hybrid build. So I may be looking into that for some hybrids in the future. But that's it, you guys. We did it. 200 plus set changes. Hopefully that gives you a good overview of what to look out for coming up in this patch. Like I said, I already did the class and skill balance changes. Make sure you check out that video if you haven't. Don't forget to drop a like on this video if you liked it, and subscribe to the channel for more ESO videos just like this. Hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you around in the next video.